Today you're gonna learn everything about your life. This is the answer to what goes on in life. You ready? How it works. How does life work? This is going to explain how life works. So if we start out and you were born, right? Then from the time you were born to the age you are now, or wherever you're going to end up, there's just steps that happen. So like there's the pregnancy that happens, and then there's the birth, and that's a milestone, right? And then there's in your home you start walking, and then you potty train, you do all that kind of stuff, and then you go to school, you go to church, and school, elementary school lasts for a while, and then there's a stop, and then you go to middle school for a while, and then there's a stop, and you go to high school, and there's a stop, right? And you can go on to college, or you can go into work or job or whatever you want to do, but it's a very standard process that everybody goes through. And all along the way, after say 2 or 3, maybe 4, there are decisions that you can make. And sometimes we make good ones, and sometimes we don't make good ones. It just happens. In school, sometimes we make good ones, sometimes we don't. Continuing in school, for example. I mean, some people graduate from high school, some people don't. Some people go to college, some people don't. You know, it just depends. There's a whole process of decisions that you have to make in your life, and that's where the power is. Power is in decisions. Power is how you make decisions about your life. This is going to explain how that works. Okay? So the first thing we want to think about is that you can write down a timeline of your life and the decisions that you made. So all you've got to do is to write a line on a piece of paper and say, okay, I was born such and such year, right? Whatever year you were born. 2000, what? 2000. So you were born in 2000. Then you had your milestones that you went through, and there were significant things that happened. For example, if your mom and dad got a divorce, or if you got a baby brother or baby sister, and they were born, that's a significant thing. That's an important thing in your life. So what you want to do is you just want to note all of those particular things. And then the next thing you want to say to yourself is, okay, how did I feel about that baby? At first I may have been really excited, or like I saw in funny videos one time, they told this probably 3 or 4-year-old that they were going to have a baby sister, and he said, I don't want to. So it was, you know, how do you feel about the events that happened in your life? All these little red beads up here are life events. They're just life events, okay? So how did you feel about the life event? How did you feel about the divorce? How did you feel if somebody died? I mean, if we're young, we don't really know how to react when somebody dies. We don't have experience with it. So we watch who? We watch our parents. We watch our parents or older siblings or somebody to figure out, what am I supposed to do if somebody dies? What am I supposed to do during a divorce? What am I supposed to do when a new baby's born? I don't know. What if I get hurt? And this again, somewhere on your line, if you had a broken arm, that may have been a very significant thing for you. It may have been important. My father, for example, had both his arms broken, and the guy set them wrong, so he could actually pop his elbows out. And that's one of the reasons he became a doctor.
Wow.
I guess so nobody else would do a crappy job of
Right.
setting arms. So how did it feel? Okay, so once you figure out how it felt, then you had to decide what you were going to do about it. And it's really interesting. We kind of think of life as being this event happens and then it kind of goes in a straight line. It doesn't go in a straight line. It actually goes like this. You start here and you don't know what to do, and it goes up and then comes back down. And this is why you're learning what to do. And then you decide what to do, and it starts again. So let's suppose that you decide correctly. You make the correct decision. Then once you make that decision, something is going to happen in your life. Once you decide what to do and start to behave that way, something's going to happen in your life that's either going to say, that's a good idea that you had and you did it right, or that's a bad idea. The funny thing about it is that your parents have a pattern that they're going to teach you from. They don't have all patterns. They don't have all sense. They don't have all understanding. What they have is their sense and their understanding. How did they make sense of school? How did they make sense of a new baby in their life? How did they make sense of a divorce? How did they make sense of being abused? How did they make sense of that? So how they made sense of it is how they're going to teach you to make sense of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
They can't give you what they
See,
don't
we're
like.
talking about making sense. I asked you that. Does it make sense? So that's how things kind of go along. And so your parent is going to teach you their best understanding. The best way that they understand life is what they're going to teach you. They're not going to teach you what they don't know. They're not going to teach you what they don't understand. If they're not a Christian, they're probably not going to take you to church. If they're a drinker, they're probably going to teach you to drink. I mean, I interviewed a guy one time, and we were talking about his drinking, and I said, what's your earliest memory of drinking? He said, 12 years old. I said, well, what happened? He said, my mother brought a bottle out, and me and my sister did shots until I drank her under the table. And I said,
His mother.
yeah, his mother. His mother brought out the bottle, and they drank shots until his sister passed out. And he was so proud because he had drank his sister under the table.
Literally.
So, again, what did your parent teach you? Was it good stuff? Was it bad stuff? Was it? Because the other thing that they teach you is how you're supposed to feel. How are you supposed to feel about life? How are you supposed to feel about things that happen? So this is where this comes in, which is, I think you'll find this kind of cool. I'm gonna
Where'd you get that?
This is called a quincux. It's Deming's red bead experiment, which is kind of interesting. And what it shows is kind of statistically how things work. So what will happen is this little lever will move and it will drop 5 beads at a time. This will move and it'll aim it wherever you want to aim it. And I'm going to let you tell me where to aim it. These will move. See how they move? These will move, and these are the emotions. So if we start out up at the top, we've got these are our events. These are our feelings. And you can see how unorganized, I mean, we can move the feelings around. We can get the feelings really organized and under control if we want to. See, we can move them all over here.
Oh,
Hey.
each line moves,
Huh?
each thing moves,
Couldn't hear you.
each feeling moves.
Well, if you get your life organized and you say, okay, everything in my life is organized like I want it to be. I've got, I'm living this life in this way, and I'm happy and satisfied because I have control of everything. Because I have control of everything. So, or when you're a kid, you see, it's all scattered. It doesn't line up. But I'm going to make decisions in my life that are going to make some of it line up, right? I mean, we can't go through life with this chaotic, crazy stuff going on.
Why not?
Well, why not? Because people don't like it. They like, in their brain, they like to believe that things are organized and in control. I mean, just so you know that one group attacked another, and there's a war kind of going on in the world, right? There's a bunch of them, but this recent one, the people that were attacked, it was such a surprise, not only to them, but to the government, that they said, I don't know what to do. And this goes back to the idea here. I'm going to my shop and I'm selling stuff every day and it's working out and I'm making this amount of money, and then all of a sudden a bomb drops on my shop. What do I do? What do I do about bombs? Well, you look around at all the other people and what they're doing about bombs. Well, if nobody really knows what to do about bombs and nobody's got it organized, then the event of bombs is going to cause chaotic types of feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can organize our feelings to some degree, but there's always going to be something that happens that we can't figure out. You know, you can be driving down the road and minding your own business, going your speed limit, doing everything you're supposed to do. Somebody can still pull out in front of you. You know, you could still have an accident. You could reach across to make sure that the seatbelt on your kid's tight, and the car veer and hit the edge of the road and go all, you know. Things happen, right? That's you can get a bumper sticker that says that.
Yes, yes.
Things happen. It says something else, but things happen. So once we make the decision, then it forms into the pattern. So once I decide what's going to happen, then I'm going to create responses in my life that echo, that mimic, that support this. So if I decide in my life that I'm not good enough, or that that nobody loves me, or that you know, that I was an extra child and I was not loved and I was not cared about, then all of the responses that I create in my life, not all of them, but enough, remind you that you're not good enough, that you're not loved. So you're going to create situations, you're going to start to create the events that prove that you're not loved. And why do we do that? Because if I create an event, I can tolerate it. If I create it, I know how much it's going to hurt me. So I can put up with it. I can live with it. So if I'm not good enough, and I know I'm not good enough, and I believe I'm not good enough, and I fall short in my career, or I fall short in my life, or I fall short in my marriage, or I fall short as a parent, that's okay. I knew it was going to happen.
So becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Becoming really comfortable with being uncomfortable. In fact, producing the discomfort that I want to live in, the degree of discomfort that I want to live with. I produce it. Well, if I produce it, I can tolerate it. If I can tolerate it, I can control it. And if some days I don't like it, I just won't produce it today.
But you still validated it.
Say again?
But you still validated it.
But you're still validating your decision. This is where, never forget, this is where the power always is. The power is always in the decision. Whatever you decide, you're going to fulfill. You're going to create the response. And you're going to eliminate, you're going to let go of just enough stress so that you can live your life the way you want to live it. So if you want to live it as an alcoholic, you're going to use just enough alcohol to make sure you feel really crappy and can't go to work and can't do this and can't do that, because it proves what you decided about yourself. I'm not worth anything. I don't have any value. Where did that come from? Well, at some point in your life, somebody along the way, and as you're developing, helped you to create that feeling. And when they helped you to create that feeling, you said, oh, it must be true. It must be true. So this is going to be the responses to the life that you're carrying out. So this is going to be life. This is the feeling, the decision process, and this is going to be the life that you're living. And it depends on how organized or chaotic you would like it to be. So let's see what happens. So if I'm a kid and I don't have any real control up here, and I haven't decided where I want to position my being, do I want to be to the right or to the left? Do I want to be happy or sad? Do I want to be depressed, not depressed? Do I want to be crazy, not crazy? What do I want to be?
Right in the middle, you figure it out.
Well, we can put it in the middle. If I put it in the middle, then it focuses these things down the middle, right? But if I'm a kid, I really haven't made that decision yet, so it's wide open. So what happens? So if we got 5 events that are going to drop at a time. So we're going to drop 5 events. Not bad. Pretty together. I'm getting fed. Somebody's changing my diaper. Right? See? It's just not bad. So I got 5 more events coming down. Oh, that's good. Things are staying kind of consistent. That's really good. Oh, that's really good. So things are doing real well. So I can stay like that. Uh-oh. What's that guy doing?
He's the
It's out
outlier.
of control.
An event happened.
Yeah, he's out of control. So I, as a 2-year-old, go out into the yard and kick over a fire ant bed. Whoa. I haven't got a clue what to do with fire ants. So everything's been going really good. See, things are looking really good, and then all of a sudden, I got this over here. Wait a minute, I live over here. I don't live over there. What do I do about things that don't fit? So I can, so if I'm still just kind of random, look at that. See, fits right there. Everything's really good, right? So I think everything,
Uh-oh. That's way out of control.
Something happened there.
Went way too far to the right.
this is life.
He became a teenager.
This is the way life works. So we've got, my life is, I'm really liking it right through here. And then all of a sudden I kick over that, and then my mom takes me somewhere and this big dog jumps out and goes, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and just scares the poop out of me.
Or spiders.
Spiders.
Spiders,
Oh, yeah, and
okay.
it jumped to German Shepherds. and-
Judy was good and then went, whoa.
So here we are. So here we go with, here's my life getting organized and looking good, and then these things start happening. That's the way life works. And so if we drop this down, we can see where we were. Now let's say, okay, so I'm going to start getting organized a little bit here. I'm going to get control of my life. So I'm going to tighten everything up. I'm going to make everything under, see how straight that is? There we go, we got it. I'm going to lock that down. We got it under control. Lock that down, got it under control, lock that one down. Again, there's always some random stuff, so you can't control everything. But I'm really ready now, so I got it all figured out.
Okay.
I got my life figured out. So, yeah,
You must be a teenager.
I'm only gonna do this,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Life is good. I got everything under control.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh,
Oh,
look at
life
that.
is so good. Yeah, life is good.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Well, that's life.
Yeah, that's really
That's
Make
life.
a process.
As soon as you have it under control, that's the way life works. All right, so if we look at that one, we tightened everything up. We made good decisions. We got our life kind of controlled. Now, here's the interesting thing. It could be controlled on the good side, or it could be controlled on the bad side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It doesn't really matter which side you decide to control it on. It's gonna work however you decide to make it. So what is it that we're controlling?
Our reaction,
Ourselves.
our decision.
Decisions.
We're controlling feelings. We're controlling feelings over letting feelings go.
Controlling
If
them
I
from
let
letting
something go, I got more room for more feelings. I don't have to have this strict, tight control over myself. Does that make sense? So I want to control the feelings. Now, if we were to, what do we call that? And this is the reason in the class, the first thing I tell folks is, what about feelings?
They won't kill you.
They won't kill you. Feelings will not kill you. If feelings were going to kill you, we would all be beyond dead. We would all be done, history over. So think about the idea that I'm gonna make decisions not about the event necessarily, but I'm gonna make decisions about how to handle my feelings. Those people that have been attacked are sitting over there with an excessive high level of stress, of feelings. They're sad because people are killed, they're upset because of the bombing, they don't know when it's coming, which is another thing that causes stress to go up. So as they are sitting there, they have to figure out what they're gonna do about the stress. You have to figure out what you're gonna do about your stress.